The Trials of Vishra. Story 1. The Trials of Life. Chapter 2. Adventure Calls. Together, they set their sights on the foreboding Talgor Mountains, their journey sparked by whispers of the Room of Prophecy. There, the ancient oracle Mekrin awaited, where true trials of strength would reveal their destinies. But first, they had to traverse the perilous Cramran Forest and survive the treacherous Dracani Desert. As they ventured further from Amber Acre, the landscape transformed. The once familiar fields vanished and the air grew crisp, and each gust carried the scent of adventure, mixed with the chill of trepidation. They camped beneath the stars on their first night, the cold earth beneath them a reminder of the journey ahead. "Remember, the forests are known for their creatures of legend," Elias said, eyes gleaming with excitement. "Like Dracorians and ward owls." Lucifer snorted. "More like stories to scare us silly," he retorted. Yet the flash of uncertainty in his gaze gave Elias pause. Lillith, seated beside the crackling fire, playfully rolled her eyes.
"Were you born this naive, Elias? Or did you eat something funny today?"
Elias laughed, the sound bright and ringing. "You'll see. We'll be legends when we return." But as the dawn broke, the serenity shattered. Climbing the trail, they were ambushed by Swantithi bandits, cloaked figures that struck without warning, quick like shadows, fierce like storm winds. Caught off guard, the trio fought back, drawing upon training they had scarcely tested.
"Lucifer, there! Watch your—"
Lillith shouted, but it was too late. A bandit lunged at him, and instinctively she pushed him aside, taking the blow herself.
"Ah!"
She gasped as she fell to the ground, clutching her side. Elias's heart seized. "Lillith!" He rushed to her, as Lucifer scrambled to fend off the attackers, spitting fiery curses. But moments later, Lillith was back on her feet, face flushed with anger instead of pain.
"I'm not done yet,"
she growled, fire in her eyes. They fought like never before, defending each other in a flurry of slashes and flying arrows. Once the bandits were dispatched, they looked at one another, realizing the bonds they forged through battle. But the tension that rose like a smoke signal hinted at the discord where once there had been camaraderie. Lucifer regarded Lillith with an incredulous eye. "Really? You were watching me, not preparing?"
"Right, because saving your life is so unimportant."
Lillith shot back, arms crossed as they marched onward. Meanwhile, Elias watched them, confused. How could they turn on each other? The day wore on, and a rift grew between Lillith and Lucifer, who began to bicker like siblings. In the heart of the Cramran Forest, the air thickened and trees loomed like ancient sentinels. Creatures beyond imagination scuttled in the shadows. With each step deeper into the woods, strange sounds surrounded them. Whispers of the wind morphed into eerie laughter, and glowing eyes blinked in the dark. "Do you think we'll face any real monsters here?" Elias challenged, emboldened by the thrill of adventure, although in the back of his mind he sensed a dark presence, which he knew was following them. "Oh, we shall face more than monsters, Elias, like you facing Lillith without your bravado." Lucifer grinned, raising his great hammer while Lillith shot him a glare. Chapter 3. Chimeras. Their banter was soon interrupted when a creature emerged, a chimeras, half lion, half serpent, with scales that glimmered malevolently in the dim light. Lillith gasped, her expression a mix of fear and awe. "On my count!" Elias said, adrenaline rushing through him. "We've got this!" With a fearless shout, he charged forward, followed closely by Lucifer. Lillith hesitated, then drew her bow and began to loose arrows towards the giant beast. "Focus, Lillith! Your strength is vital!" Elias yelled, his voice both a command and a plea. His white locks whipped about his face, a short and wild mane that matched the fiery determination in his blood-red eyes. Elias was a skilled swordsman, and the weight of leadership lay heavily upon his shoulders. Yet, as he faced the chimeras, and looked up at its dragon-like wings. His confidence wavered ever so slightly, prompting his insistence on unity, with determination igniting a flick of courage within her. Lillith drew back the string of her bow, feeling the cool wood against her palm. She aimed carefully, targeting the Chimeros' scaled tail, which whipped dangerously in a rhythmic arc. Each arrow she launched seemed to falter before this monstrous hybrid, a creature of nightmares. But Lillith was driven by purpose.
Let's make him regret ever stepping in our path,
She shouted, finding strength in the camaraderie that built around them. The battle unfolded like a chaotic tapestry woven from strands of valor and dread. Elias surged forward, swords clashing against the Chimeros' hide, his movements fluid and precise. Every swing counted, and he gritted his teeth in effort, pushing himself to his limits. Lucifer mirrored his efforts, weaving in and out under the creature's colossal limbs with the grace of a dancer, delivering precise blows that left deep dents in the beast's scales. But the Chimeros was a formidable opponent. It unleashed roars that echoed through the woods, reverberating in Lilith's chest as she loosed another arrow, striking just above its talons with a satisfying thud. Yet the beast hardly flinched. This was a creature born of ancient magic. It was resilient, a guardian of dark secrets within the forest. "Concentrate!" Elias shouted again, frustration creeping into his tone. But Lilith felt the weight of her own fears strangling her focus. What if she missed? What if she failed them? She shook the doubts from her mind and focused on the present, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and adrenaline. "Together! Now!" Elias called, a rallying cry that resonated through her soul. It was their only chance against this behemoth. She knocked another arrow, steadied her breath, and with a warrior's heart aimed at the heart of the beast. Lucifer made an audacious leap, scrambling onto the creature's back, his own bravery fueling Lilith's resolve. "Go for its heart, Lilith, while it's distracted!" With renewed vigor, she sighted the target, glowing with an almost ethereal light.
For the forest!
She yelled, releasing her arrow, which seemed to hum as it sliced through the evening air. Time slowed as the shaft spiraled towards its mark. A moment later, a deafening roar erupted from the Chimeros, a mix of rage and pain. Elias and Lucifer's synchronized attacks landed, and Lilith felt a surge of triumph as her arrow met its intended target. The beast staggered, a massive, scaled body shuddering as it succumbed to darkness, landing heavily in the underbrush. The earth trembled beneath its weight, and silence fell, wrapping them in a heavy blanket of relief. Lilith caught her breath, wide-eyed and exhilarated.
Did we win?
She breathed, glancing between her companions, the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. "Yes!" Elias shouted, laughter spilling forth, the void of fear instantly filled by joy. Their differences were swept away, and they had united against a common foe, and the bond they shared sparkled bright enough to light even the dimmest corners of the forest. "I guess," Lucifer huffed, brushing off mud as he grinned reluctantly, the glimmer of respect shining through his usual bravado. "But don't let it inflate your head, Lilith. You still owe me a drink after this." Lilith laughed, heart swelling with warmth for her allies. Perhaps it was the exhilaration of triumph, or could it be something deeper, a spark of something that might grow beyond mere friendship? As twilight faded into night, a canopy of stars emerged above, shining down on their hard-won victory. Together they stood among the fallen leaves, the glow of the moon illuminating their faces. Whatever awaited them beyond this battle, whatever adventures the future held, they would embrace it as allies forged in the fires of conflict. With one last glance at the silent Chimeros, Elias sheathed his sword and turned to Lilith and Lucifer, eyes glimmering like the stars above. "We make a pretty good team, don't we?" "Better than I thought possible," Lucifer replied, an unexpected sincerity in his tone. and with laughter trailing behind them like moonlight through the leaves, they ventured into the depths of the forest, leaving the echoes of battle behind them, ready to embrace the unknown paths that awaited. The sun hung low in the sky, painting the Dracani desert in hues of orange and maroon. Lillith was the first to break the silence as she marched forward with determination in her stride. To her right, Lucifer adjusted the straps on his armor and clutched his great hammer, his expression a blend of eagerness and apprehension. Elias held his sword tightly, his eyes scanning the horizon for signs of danger. They had ventured into the heart of the Dracani, seeking the Room of Prophecy. The tales told of its resting place, fiercely guided by mythological creatures born of sand and shadow. None had returned from the quest unscathed. "Stay close," Elias instructed, his voice low but firm. "The winds are restless today." Lillith nodded, though her heart was pounding. They pressed on, the dry heat wrapping around them like a second skin. Minutes turned into hours, the sandy terrain beginning to shift beneath their feet. Lucifer, puffing lightly, broke the silence again. "I swear, every time I step on a rock, I hear it whispering. Is that normal?" Lillith smirked, shaking her head.
You've been drinking too much at desert tea, you great oaf.
As if summoned by her jest, a chilling wind whipped across the dunes. The air shimmered as if the very ground was boiling. The trio halted, eyes widening as a massive figure began to materialize. A sand worm. Its serpentine body composed entirely of grains and shadows. Its amber eyes glowed fiercely as it locked onto them, hunger evident in its gaze.